What up, everybody? I got something weird for you today. So, on the weekends, I like to listen to the 70s Casey Kasem countdowns on Sirius XM 70s on 7. And this weekend, they played one from this week in 1971. And it featured a song that was extremely controversial at the time. So controversial that 70s on 7 is playing the original countdown, but there were alternate versions of this countdown given to radio stations, and he explains during the countdown, if this isn't playable in your area, skip it or something like that. He announces, you may hear this song, you may not, depending on what radio station you're listening to it on. But anyway, it's by a little remembered group named the Buoys. It's called Timothy from 1971. The song is about a subject matter that up until 71 had never been sung about. The song was written by Rupert Holmes, the guy that did the song, "If You Like Pina Coladas, Get Caught in the Rain." This was his big break into the music business. I recently watched an interview with him, and he admitted he wrote the song on purpose about cannibalism, because he knew it would get banned from radio stations. That was his foray into the music business, and it worked for him. The song was immediately banned from thousands of stations across the country. Some stations would play it, but in the beginning it was mostly banned, and of course, with that controversy, word of mouth, slowly by slowly, it started getting played a little bit more, and it became such a hit, radio stations wanted to play it, but I don't know, I wasn't around in 1971. I have a hard time believing that they would lose their license for something other than curse words or, graphic sex content, stuff like that, but who knows? The record label issued 2 different radio-friendly versions of it to radio stations. Now, that was not available to the public. If you went and bought the 45, you got the original version. But for radio stations, they got 2 different radio versions if they so chose to play. That's how big it got. I mean, it was banned at first, but you tell kids they can't hear something, they're going to want to hear it. So kids were calling the radio stations like crazy, demanding that the stations play it, and eventually it got all the way as high as number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100. So, unfortunately, this was the only hit for this group. They only made one album, the album that this record comes from. Mainly because they say that the record was so gruesome, so over the top, they couldn't top it. So, they just moved on. So, I've been able to obtain one of the radio-friendly versions, which I'll play for you after I play the original. I'm going to play you the original now. The original will have lyrics on the screen so that you can read the song so you know what I'm talking about. Just read the lyrics, take into account, use your head, and you'll figure it out. Alright? Let's go with Timothy by the Buoys from 1971. It's almost unbelievable that a song like that would hit the charts, but especially in 1971, right? But yeah. Anyways, so that was the original version. So, as we all know, the world was a lot different in 1971. For some reason, you read those lyrics and you saw it. There's one radio edit that I'm not able to obtain, unfortunately, but they say that they bleeped out the word hell in the second verse, where it says, hungry as hell, no food to eat. I guess it went, hungry as beep, but no food. I don't know. But that one I'm not being successful in obtaining. But I did find the one where they changed the lyrics in the third verse, where it says our stomachs were full. That was re-lyriced, and they sing both of us happy as we could be, instead of our stomachs were full as they could be. Again, I don't know how this really makes any difference, because you can still decipher by listening. So I'm not understanding why they even bothered, quite frankly. Because you could still change that, but it doesn't change the fact that it sounds like Joe and the singer ate Timothy. Timothy got eaten. You could figure that out real easy. Now, what's interesting about this is in 1963, there was a Sheffield, Pennsylvania mining accident, and 3 miners were trapped in a cave. It said that they were trapped there for like 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And finally, after 3 weeks, they were rescued. But only 2 of them. One of them was missing. And when you see the film footage of these guys, they don't look like they haven't eaten in 3 weeks. It's very scary. And it's almost like a coincidence to the song. But they asked Rupert Holmes if he knew about this incident. He said no. He said that if he knew about it, he wouldn't have written it. It's strictly a matter of coincidence. But that film footage of those guys is freaky, because they look perfectly fine. I wonder if they ate that other guy. But I wish I had some of that to show you, but I don't. But you can Google it. Sheffield, Pennsylvania, 1963 mining accident. Just Google it and you'll see the pictures. These guys do not look malnourished at all. And they hadn't eaten in 3 weeks. I mean, even if they had food with them and water, I mean, it wouldn't have lasted that long. They wouldn't have come out looking like they did. They looked perfectly fine. That's what's weird. So now I'm going to play you the radio version. Of course, back then, most top 40 radio stations were on AM. So yes, this is recorded from AM radio. So I'm sorry about the quality. But it's not too bad, because as we know, AM radio sounded a lot better back then than it does now, because the signals were a lot more powerful and you didn't have all the technology and all that. So AM radio sounded a lot better back then. But here it is. You could hear the Q burn on that, man. That record was played a lot. And that's actually off of AM radio. That was not from, like, direct from the record. That was a recording from the radio. Because if you heard in the beginning, listen close.
Music Hour.
See? So, yeah. But anyways, that's the story of Timothy. Hope it was nice and gruesome for you. Join me next time and I'll have something else for you. Have a great day.